If you're like me, you have boxes and boxes of old plant containers that you have been stockpiling or, dare I say, hoarding over the years. And also, if you're like me, a lot of your old plant containers probably look something like this. These have definitely seen better days, but we hold on to them nonetheless. What if there was something better that we could start our seeds in than these old throwaway disposable plant containers that actually are more convenient, will last longer, and lead to better germination and transplanting results? And they're also completely free. Well, after this video, you may never look at a pickle container the same way again.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out my Amazon store and Spreadshop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom apparel and gear.
And here is my secret weapon. Pickle containers. I have been starting seeds in these disposable pickle containers for years. Now, usually about once a month I do a big stock up at Costco, and every time I go to Costco I buy 3 or 4 containers of Grillo's pickles. Shout out to Grillo's pickles, the best pickles in the world. If you know, you know. But nevertheless, I never throw away any of my pickle containers, and these right here are leftover Grillo's pickles containers that I have been stockpiling for over a year. And that stack of conveniently nested pickle containers that I just showed you have more seed starting potential than that entire giant plastic tub of disposable multi-cell seed starting trays. And that's because these little plastic tubs not only serve as one of the best types of vessels for certain types of transplants, but they also come with these unique lids, and they can be easily transformed into makeshift humidity domes. And the humidity is fully adjustable based on how much you leave the lid on or off. Leave it on for full humidity, let it crack a little bit if you want to let in a little bit of fresh air, which I generally recommend, or leave it a third off, half off. You can adjust the humidity in real time to suit your needs. Here's how this system works. I'm going to sow some of this beautiful giant Caesar romaine lettuce, which is perfect when you sow it in one of these types of transplant containers. I'm going to add about 2 inches of a sterilized seed starting mix at the bottom of this container, and I'm going to shake it around to make sure that it settles evenly. Take my hand and lightly pack it down just a little bit to create a firm but not hard base. Then I'm going to take some of my romaine lettuce seeds and I'm going to overseed the area just a little bit. It's not going to take a lot because this is a small vessel. We don't want to put too many seeds. Then I'm going to lightly cover them with about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch of potting mix. Then I'm going to simply pour in a little bit of water to help the mix hydrate, and then I'm going to snap this lid on until the mix fully hydrates, and once it does, we'll then move it into either indirect sunlight or underneath grow lights. And here's the plant container 30 minutes later. I've been letting that water slowly absorb into the soil, and you can see all of the condensation on the top of the lid because it's fully closed, so it's going to have a greenhouse effect. Now, this is something I would only do while the water is soaking into the soil. I would not want to keep it completely shut like that because you need to let a little bit of fresh air in to help the seeds germinate. Otherwise, you could create an anaerobic condition and you could get soil-borne fungi and you can have your seeds rot, or you could develop damping off disease. So keep that in mind. So what kind of annual crops can be started in pickle containers like this? Well, anything that does well from transplant and doesn't mind having the root mass pulled apart. So obviously root crops like carrots or beets or radishes, well, they are out because they should only be direct sown into your garden and never started from transplant, since their taproot doesn't like being disturbed. And of the crops that do transplant well, like I said earlier, we want to focus specifically on crops that don't mind having the roots disturbed or pulled apart a little bit. For example, onions, shallots, and leeks do well being grown in clumps like this, and then basically popping them out of the container and pulling them apart. Another example of something that does well like this would be lettuces. Lettuces don't mind this once they form a strong mat of roots. I'm starting some leaf lettuce and romaine lettuce in these containers, as I just showed you, because once they form that strong root mat, you can pull them apart pretty easily and transplant them. You see those beautiful onion roots? They're like a big thick mat. If we pull them apart like this, they're not going to mind. I can pull them and separate them and just plop them into planting holes. They'll do just fine. I'm also growing lemongrass in these pickle containers. Look how cool this is. I bought a $4 packet of lemongrass seeds. I started them in this container, and then because lemongrass is frost sensitive, well, I'm growing it in my sunroom right now, and I can just use these for cooking. I can just pull out a piece as I need them, and then when the frost and freezes stop, I'll be able to take that root mass right there, and I'll be able to break it apart as multiple different plugs, and I'll be able to put some in my garden, and then I'll save a little bit more as a plug and keep it in a container as well to overwinter into next winter. So these little containers are awesome for little herbs like this that you can keep growing all winter long. Which brings me to my next example. Herbs. A lot of annual herbs do really well being started in these pickle containers. I'm starting dill, cilantro, and parsley under my grow lights right now, and once they germinate and they put down some roots and that root mass becomes a nice thick mat, I'll then be able to pop it out as one big cohesive block and then separate the individual seedlings and put them in my garden for transplanting. And another example of things that grow well in these containers are your vigorous summer annuals like squashes, cucumbers, melons, and other cucurbits, because they are so vigorous and they germinate and grow so quickly that they can be sown in a big tub and then individually pulled apart once the roots start wrapping together and they form a mat that holds the soil structure in place. Just be careful when growing crops that do like being grown from transplant, but they don't like being sown in one giant mat and then having their root masses heavily pulled apart. Some examples of these crops are things like your nightshades, like your tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, and also a lot of your brassicas like kale, collard greens, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. All of those things are better sown in your standard seed starting trays and individual cells like this because you can pop them out one at a time and not badly disturb the roots. Yes, you can mass sow them in one of those pickle containers or a big tub like that and wait until they form a mat and pull them apart. I have done that, and I also always overseed my individual cells, so sometimes I have two plants germinate in a single cell, and then I'll pull the plant apart, pull that root mass apart, and plant each one individually. But I have noticed that on these particular species, they go through a transplant shock period where you'll have kind of a week where they will sit there and languish and kind of recover. So for that reason, for those more sensitive crops, I like to start in the traditional cells, and it wouldn't be my first choice to grow them in those pickle containers, although it is technically possible. So let me show you what it looks like when all of these plants get growing. So here we are inside my office underneath my grow lights, and here I have some leaf lettuce that I sowed a couple of days ago that haven't germinated yet. These are some dill transplants that I sowed a couple of weeks ago, and they are getting to the point where maybe in a week or two they will be ready for transplant. I also have some leeks that are a few weeks old that are coming along beautifully. I expect these to be ready for transplant in another 3 to 4 weeks. Then over here I have some beautiful cilantro, also known as coriander. These are coming along beautifully. I think we're about a week or two away for transplanting. And then here is the giant Caesar romaine that I just planted. I'm going to leave the lid cracked just like this. And last but not least, you can see some early tomato and basil plants that I started already that are going to be put out in containers to get a big jump start on the season. They're just starting to break ground, and as you can see, I started these in the individual 6-cell seed cell trays because I want these to form plugs. They don't do as well with root disturbance. So for that reason, I did not start them in the pickle containers like I did with everything else over here. Now I'm going to show you just how easy it is to transplant things out of these containers. I'm simply going to pop them out. In this case, they are my early yellow onions. And then I'm just going to start pulling them apart. So we're just going to separate each individual onion as an individual seedling. And we're going to shake them loose, just letting gravity kind of do the work for us. And as we continue to shake them loose, we will get an ever-increasing pile of onions that we are going to transplant after this part of the video. And just like that, all of the onions have been separated. Now that the onions have been separated, I have laid them out along my raised garden beds where they are going to go, because we want to provide 3 to 4 inches of spacing between each onion. That way we allow enough room for adequate bulbing. If you place them too closely together, they will compete with each other, and then you'll get smaller onions. Then I'm going to go up and down each row, and where I have laid out all of my onions, I'm going to take my finger and dig a little hole and install the onion roots and bulbs, making sure to cover the bulb completely and then to lightly compact on top of them. But I didn't compact them fully because I want to add some fertilizer and some bone meal on top of the soil and work it in before I give the final compaction. So I'm going to use a basic all-purpose granular organic fertilizer as well as an organic bone meal product, and I'm going to go up and down each row. I'm going to spread some granular organics on top of the onion transplants first. Then I'm going to follow up with spreading the organic bone meal evenly over all of the onions. Then I'm going to lightly work it in the soil with my fingertips and compact it down. Now, under normal circumstances, I would put down a layer of compost and then a layer of mulch on top of the onions that I just transplanted, but unfortunately, I just used my last bag of compost, so I have to go to the store and get more. So for the time being, I'm just going to water in these onions really well in order to fully compact the soil around them and help facilitate the breakdown of the organic fertilizers, and I'll just add the compost and mulch layer later. So, in summary, the reasons why I love planting in these pickle containers so much, and they are my new best friend in my garden, is they are easy to transplant into, they are easy to transplant out of, they have the greenhouse effect, so I actually get better germination than I do in the standard 6-cell seed trays, and also there is the durability. This is the pickle container that I just planted those onions in. These are so tough, they're so strong, whereas the standard 6-cell seed trays, there's nothing to them. They're junk, garbage, they fall apart. And while they still have their place in the garden, and I'll never not use them, if I had my druthers and I could pick between these pickle containers and those cheap seed cells, I would actually pick sowing in these, as long as I'm choosing the species of plants that are appropriate and don't mind having their roots pulled apart in a big mat like I showed you. And the last question you may have is, do I absolutely have to use these exact pickle containers? And of course the answer is no. You can use anything you want that is similar. I have just used many different free vessels over the years, and I have found these to be the absolute best because they come with this nifty lid that allows me to perfectly regulate the humidity. They're clear, so I can clearly see all of the roots developing, which I love. They are super strong and well made. Some of these I've been using for over 2 years because I've been buying these pickles for so long, and they are still holding up even out in the sun. It's just such a well-made plastic material, but there's no reason why you couldn't use a yogurt container or something. As long as it's sturdy enough and it fits your needs, you can repurpose anything you want. Just if you're a pickle lover like me, I think these are the absolute best. So if you buy this exact brand of pickles or another style of deli pickles, as they all tend to come in this style of container, I think these are the best completely free vessel out there for starting seeds in a bulk mass mat like this. At least it's worked out for me incredibly well, better than I had ever anticipated. But before I finish this video, I must address one more thing, because I know all of you are going to ask, do you have to install drain holes at the bottoms of these pickle containers? And the answer to that question is, it depends on your situation. Now for me, I start all of my seeds indoors in a controlled environment underneath grow lights. So for that reason, believe it or not, I don't have any drain holes on the bottom, and that's because I'm very disciplined and methodical, and I don't overwater my transplants and my seedlings. But if you're going to ever bring these outside where you may forget them and they may be subject to a rainstorm, or you tend to overwater, well, if that is the case, then you'll probably want to take a small drill bit and make 4 holes in a square pattern around the bottom and maybe 1 in the center as well for peace of mind. So it really depends how you are with your seedlings and how you know yourself. It's really up to you. It's your call. So it's for these reasons that I genuinely believe that these pickle containers will become your new best friend when it comes to starting seeds in your garden. At the very least, I think you'll enjoy starting seeds in these a whole lot more than you will in these random, misshapen, multi-cell old containers or these misshapen old flower pots. I know that I have, and I have certainly had better results germinating, especially when it comes to things that are harder to germinate, like your onions, your leeks, some of your herbs, and things like that, that like a more precise humidity control. So everybody, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring the notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. For any of the specific items that I featured in this video, like the various fertilizers and some of the seed start trays, if you need multi-cell seed trays, I'll place direct links down in the video description for some of my favorite products that are very good quality. For everything else I use in my yard and garden in real life, that is all linked in my Amazon storefront. So expand the video description, click on the Amazon storefront link, and you'll see everything I use in real life in my yard and garden. And while you're down there, check out my website, themillennialgardener.com, for all things gardening and custom merch if you want to support my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Well, I ran out of fresh food to make Dale, so I'm going to give him half a serving of kibble, and then we'll give him some eggs. So here I have my little omelet pan, and I'll make him a little over easy egg. Not too bad right there. And the goal of this is to let it be nice and good and runny. So if I did this right, we'll get a nice little bit of over easy, but it's not completely raw. So there you go. I did all that work making a nice over easy egg, and then I wound up just pulverizing it anyway. So we let it cool down for a couple of minutes just to get the steam off, and somebody needs to wait. Okay, very good, Dale. You still have to follow the rules, buddy, no matter how good and sweet you are. Enjoy, buddy. We'll make your fresh hungries tomorrow.